group members. The first one is Muhammad Adi Adam bin Zainul Abidin. Student ID is 2022872926. The next one is Nabil Irfan bin Nasharuddin. Student ID is 2022896978. Next one is Muhammad Afnan Haziq bin Seman, 2022875644. Next one is Muhammad Fakhri Azika bin Kamarul Arifin, 2022609842. And the last one is Muhammad Haryadi bin Mazani, 202286836572.
Okay, now I'm going to explain to you guys about what is kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is energy an object has because of its motion. To accelerate an object, then we must apply a force. Applying a force requires us to do work. After work has been done, energy has been transferred to the object, and the object will be moving with a new constant speed. The energy transfer is known as kinetic energy, and it depends on the mass and speed achieved. So, the situation now is Nabil is a very good soccer player. He is able to make a strong kick consistently every time he kicks. But he noticed that he kicked the ball with different speeds. He found that the impact on the ball was different. In order to maintain his performance in his football career, Nabil decided to study a bit related to physics and football. He sought to determine at what speed the ball should be kicked well to further hone his talent. Since he studied in the field of mathematical sciences, he understood the relationship between the kinetic energy imparted on the ball and its speed.
Okay, next we move to the purpose of study. So the purpose of study, we have 3 points. So the first one is problem solving skill, the second one is understand fundamental physics, and the last one is educational development. So the first one is problem solving skill. Learning about kinetic energy involve applying mathematical formula and problem solving techniques. This exchange analytic thinking and quantitative skill. The example of quantitative skill is like data analysis. The second one is understand fundamental physics. Kinetic is a core concept in physics that help explain how objects move and interact. The last one is fun educational development. So far, for students learning about kinetic energy develop critical thinking.
So next we move to the methodology part. In this part, we will show or share about our calculation or how we solve the problem. To understand the relationship between the kinetic energy impacting the ball and kick speed, we utilize the kinetic energy formula to solve our problem, considering variables such as mass and velocity. So the problem we had is the first one: what is the kinetic energy of a football when kicked at different speed? So we have two examples of speed that we use. The first one is 20 km per hour. So the first step, we must convert the kilometer per hour into meter per second, because in the kinetic energy formula we must use meter per second and not kilometer per hour. So the velocity that we get is 5.56 meter per second. After we have the meter per second, the value for meter per second, then we can proceed to calculate the kinetic energy. So the formula for kinetic energy is 1/2 times mass times velocity squared. Then we substitute the value and we get that the kinetic energy is 6.69 joule. So that the second example is 16 km per hour. Also, the first step, we must convert kilometer per hour into meter per second. And then the velocity that we get is 16.67 meter per second. After we have meter per second, now we can proceed to calculate the kinetic energy. And the kinetic energy that we get is 62.52 joule. So here, even the difference of the speed are very small, but the difference for the kinetic energy are really big. So when the speed when the speed is increased, that means the kinetic energy also increase.
Okay, let's move to the next question. How does the kinetic energy of a football kick by Roberto Carlos compare to an average football player? Roberto Carlos' famous free kick shot have been measured approximately at 169 km per hour according to the Wikipedia. Meanwhile, average football player is at 72 km per hour. So, we convert 169 km per hour into meter per second. So we get 46.94 meter per second. Then we can proceed to calculate the kinetic energy, which is kinetic energy is equal to 1 over 2 multiply 0.45 multiply 46.94 meter per second squared. So we get 465.76 joule. Moving to the average football player, we convert the speed into meter per second, 72 kilometer per second. We get 20 meter per second. Then we can proceed to calculate the kinetic energy, which is 1 over 2 multiply with 0.45 multiply with 20 meter per second squared. So we get 90 joule.
Next, we move to the result and discussion. Okay, in this part, we will show the result that we get from our calculation on the methodology part. Okay, for the result for our first problem, which is what is the kinetic energy of a football when kicked at different speed? How can this information be used to enhance a player's performance? Okay, for the first speed that we use, which is 20 km per hour, we got 6.69 joule. And for second speed, which is 16 km per hour, we got 62.52 joule. Okay, based on the result, more kinetic energy can be generated if the speed increase. And this will help Nabil because he know how much kinetic energy that he need to improve his shot power and precision.
So, based on question B, how does the kinetic energy of a football kick by Roberto Carlos compare to an average football player? We get that Roberto Carlos' kinetic energy of football kick is 495.76 joule. Meanwhile, the average football players is 90 joules. So, based on the result, there is a big difference between the kinetic energy of football kick by Roberto Carlos and average football player. This is because due to the technique applied by them, resulting in different speed and power.
Okay, now we move to the conclusion. The concept of kinetic energy is a fundamental principle in physics, capturing the energy that an object possesses due to the motion. This relationship shows that kinetic energy is directly proportional to the mass of an object and the square of its velocity, highlighting how increases in speed have a more significant impact on kinetic energy than increases in mass. Based on the discussion, Nabil may improve his performance and make his kicks more targeted and powerful by concentrating his speed and adjusting for different ball masses. The comprehension helped in his present training and built his foundation for future progress in football career.